Hey everybody, Fundamental P here with episode 8. This is part 3 of our major scale discussion, and I'm really excited about this. I've tried to make this video 2 other times. The first time the audio quality was horrible, and I deleted it, and the second time I got confused and made a couple mistakes. So I'm hoping that the third time's a charm. We're going to look at a number of major scales today, and we're going to try to look for some patterns, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's start off with something that we've seen before, which is the C major scale. And what is the C major scale? It's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. And it has no sharps. Okay, we saw that. We saw that it is a series of whole and half steps. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? And the next thing we saw is that when we used that same series of whole and half steps, okay, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, but when we started on G, we ended up with G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And we discovered that the G major scale has one sharp, which is F sharp. Okay. We also looked at the D major scale. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And we discovered using that same series of whole and half steps that the D major scale contained F sharp and C sharp, okay, which is 2 sharps. Well, time to look for some patterns here, okay? The C major scale had no sharps. And suddenly the G major scale had 1 sharp. Well, I want to point out to you that G is the 5th note of the major scale. And that's the major scale that then had 1 sharp. But then notice, D is the 5th note of the G major scale, and the D major scale had 2 sharps. If that's the case, is it possible, and maybe we already looked at this, but is it possible that the next major scale that has 3 sharps would be the A major scale? And the answer is yes. Right? So once again, G is the 5th of C, D is the 5th of G, A is the 5th of D, and then we can continue using that pattern to come up with each of the other major scales. Okay? Now, notice also, the note that we sharped when we chose that 1 sharp for the key of G, or for the G major scale, was the note right before G, okay? Well, for the D major scale, we used that same sharp, F sharp, and then we sharped the note right before D, which was C. Now for the A major scale, we're going to take the F sharp from, we're going to take the F sharp from the G major scale. We're going to take the C sharp from the D major scale. And then we're going to sharp the note right before A, which is G sharp. And that gives us our 3 sharps. So we can use these patterns to come up with the rest of the major scales, okay? Wouldn't it make sense? So we're saying, well, what's the next major scale going to be? I don't know. What's the 5th of A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's E. So the E major scale comes next. It will have 4 sharps. Which sharps? Well, it's going to have F sharp from the G major scale. It's going to have C sharp from the D major scale. It's going to have G sharp from the A major scale. And now the note before E is D. So it's going to have a D sharp. So cool, okay? What's the 5th note of the E major scale? B. which will be our next major scale, which will have 5 sharps, okay? B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, it will have the F sharp from the G major scale, the C sharp from the D major scale, the G sharp from the A major scale, the D sharp from the E major scale. And now what's the note before B? A. So this will also have an A sharp, which gives us our 5th sharp. Isn't this cool? Okay, I certainly like it. I like coming up with these and using patterns. 5th note of B. Now this is interesting. The 5th note of the B major scale is F sharp. So the next major scale is the F sharp major scale. Now we can use the same method here. Just say G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Okay. Well, we already have the F sharp from the G major scale. We need the C sharp from the D major scale. We need the G sharp from the A major scale. We need the D sharp from the E major scale. We need the A sharp from the B major scale. I'm not kidding, right? And then what is the note before F? E, which gives us our 6 sharps. Do you see where we're going here? Okay, so by the way, I don't want to count F sharp twice. So if I'm highlighting the sharps, I'm going to highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not going to highlight that last F sharp because that would make it look like there's 7 sharps and there really are only 6. Okay. And what's the 5th note of the F major scale? C sharp. So the C sharp major scale contains 7 sharps. I believe I mentioned this in another episode. When I studied this in music theory, I always thought like the C major scale was really easy, the C sharp major scale was really easy, and then sort of as we moved down from the C major scale or up from the C sharp major scale, things got a little more tricky. But in other words, super easy to remember the C sharp major scale because every single note is sharped, right? So C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp. Okay, I always found that very easy to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I don't intend to show you major scales with more than 7 sharps, but just for fun, I'm going to show you what we could do, which is what I'm not going to do, but I'll show you what we could do. Okay, and I'll use maybe a blue pen here. We could say, well, what's the 5th note of the C sharp major scale? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's G sharp. So is there such thing as a G sharp major scale? Yep. G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Now wait just a second. We have to sharp the note before G sharp, but it's already sharped, right? That's this note here. It's already F sharp. You ready for this? F double sharp. And you might be thinking, no way. Yeah, yes way. Okay. So it actually has, I got to be careful here. So watch, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has 6 sharps plus 1 double sharp. See, I'm not going to go there, but we could keep going, right? What's the 5th note of the G sharp major scale? It's D sharp. So then the D sharp, well, why not? I can't resist, okay? D sharp, E sharp, F double sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. But which note needs to be sharped? No, I'm confusing myself. No, it's the note before D sharp needs to be sharped. So this has to become a C double sharp. See that? So now this one has 2 double sharps and 5 regular sharps. Okay. Whoa, I want to do that. So you can see that, I mean, we could just keep going here forever, essentially. Triple sharps, quadruple sharps, quintuple sharps. I'm not going to do that, okay? What I was really interested in showing you today were these 7 major scales, okay? All the way from the C major scale that had no sharps, all the way up to the C sharp major scale that had 7 sharps. But you know what? I threw in a couple extra. So you get to see the G sharp major scale and the D sharp major scale as well, okay? And by the way, this one had, if I can get the right color pen, this one had 5 sharps plus 2 double sharps. Okay. So, wow. Okay, that's a lot of major scales. We're not done yet, though. Okay, because one of the other things I showed you the other day, I'm going to start on a new slide here. I don't think it really matters, but one of the things I showed you the other day, well, let's start over, okay? We got the C major scale, which is C, D, oh, weird. I thought C and my hand wrote G. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now check this out. Let's come at this from a different perspective. Let's like up here, we said that the G major scale had no sharps, but what if I said, well, this one has no flats, okay? And like we discovered the other day, we have a major scale with 1 flat. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. 1 flat. Do you remember which note was flat? B, okay? And I might have even shown you the B flat major scale. B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, which had 2 flats. Do you remember which note was flat? E flat. Do you see a pattern? Okay. The C major scale had no flats. The F major scale had 1 flat, and F was the 4th note of the C major scale. The B flat major scale had 2 flats, and B flat was the 4th note of the F major scale. Okay? Is it possible that E flat, the E flat major scale, will have 3 flats because it's the 4th note of the B flat major scale? And the answer is yes. E flat, remember I'll just do F, G, A, B, C, D, E flat. Now remember, the note that becomes flattened each time is the 4th note, but we have to borrow the flats from the other preceding major scales. So the E flat major scale is going to have E flat, A flat, and B flat. Okay? Can you see how this pattern works? Which major scale is going to have 4 flats? What's the 4th note of E flat major? It's A flat. So it must be that the A flat major scale is the one that has 4 flats, A being one of them, A flat, B, C. You don't need to do it like this each time, but just if you're working with patterns, it can be an easy way to do it. So what happens here? Well, we got to take the B flat from the F major scale. We have to take the E flat from the B major scale. We have to take the A flat from the E flat major scale, and then we need to flatten? I wonder which is correct grammatically. I think it's flatten. I think we need to flatten the 4th note, which would be D flat, okay? And by the way, let's get some highlighter going on here. Okay, so here we had 1 flat, we had 2 flats, we had 3 flats, we have now 4 flats. Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we're going to eventually end up with 7 flats. Okay, but we're going to see, the next scale will have 5, then the next will have 6, then the next will have 7. So let's continue this and see what happens. Well, the 4th note of the A flat major scale is D flat. So that is going to be our major scale that has 5 flats. What are the flats? Let's find out. D flat, E, F, G, A, B, C, D flat, right? Well, it's got to have a B flat. It's got to have an E flat. It's got to have an A flat. It's got to have a D flat, which it already does, okay? And then the 4th note needs to be flattened. It was the 5th note that needed to be sharpened. It was not actually. It was the note before the root note that needed to be sharped in the sharp scale, but it was the 5th note each time for the major scales that became the next major scale. So anyway, whereas major scales we're dealing with fifths with major scales that have sharpened notes, we're dealing with the 5th. With major scales that have flattened notes, we're dealing with the 4th each time. So what's the 4th note of D flat major? It's going to be G flat. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just using this pattern. Something's going to have 6 flats. And what is that? It's going to be G flat. G flat major scale, G flat, A flat. See, this is another way to do it. B flat, C flat, since it's the 4th note, right? D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. So remember, that's 6 flats. The only note that has not yet been flattened is F, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 4th note that becomes flattened, and that's where we added the C flat to the G flat major scale. And now, oh my gosh, 7 flats is going to be the C flat major scale. C flat. This one, again, I could always remember the C sharp major scale. It had 7 sharps. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp. Well, I could always remember the C flat major scale too. C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and C flat. Those were easy for me to memorize when I took music theory classes. So C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and C flat. 7 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where do we go from here? Well, it's a similar dilemma that we found with those last scales that contain sharpened notes. I really hadn't intended to show you any major scales with more than 7 flats, but just for the sake of discussion, okay. The 4th note of the C flat major scale is F flat. So I suppose we could come up with an F double flat major scale. Did I just lie to you? I did. Sorry. Let me try that again. We're not flattening anything yet. The 4th note of the C flat major scale is F flat. So to come up with the F flat major scale, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, and F flat, okay? What we're supposed to do is flatten the 4th note. Well, it's already flat. Well, then let's double flat it, okay? So the F flat major scale contains B double flat, okay? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flats and 1 double flat, okay? 6 flats plus 1 double flat. I don't know, double flat might be hyphenated. I wonder if it is. I'm always curious about stuff like that. Not such a big deal, but I'm always curious. So drop me a comment if you happen to know. Should double flat be hyphenated? If it's a double flat note, I sure think it should be. Anyway, All right, let's do one more. Come on, why not? We got nothing better to do. We probably do, actually. Probably have things that we could be working on. But here we go. B double flat major scale. It depends how much you value music. Right? If you really value music, maybe you don't have anything better to be doing right now. Maybe this is a super valuable use of our time. I kind of feel like it is. All right. Ho! Okay, B double flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, and B double flat. Well, which note becomes flattened? The fourth note, but it's already flattened. Okay, well then let's double flat it. Okay. So we have 2 double flats now and 5 flats. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 flats plus 1. Now I'm going to stop here. You can keep going. If you are so inclined, you can just keep going, right? And you could do more of these. And you know, will you ever see them in I don't know. Probably not. Someone will probably not hand you a piece of music that's written in E double flat, but maybe, I don't know. I think of this almost like pure mathematics. I've never heard this before, but so an applied mathematician says, well, I'm not interested in math unless I can apply it to something in the real world. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. A pure mathematician says, I don't care if I can apply this to anything. I just love doing math. And so I always joke that they sit in the basement of a university with long hair and a ponytail, just doing math, right? And then the scientists are like sort of grabbing the math that they need from this vast collection of mathematics that comes from pure mathematicians. I kind of feel the same way. I love just doing math, okay? And this would be similar. Like maybe you just love using this pattern and you want to come up with like lots of other major scales with double or triple or quadruple flats. So go for it. If it's something you enjoy, go for it. And then, well, this is never going to be used by a musician. I don't care. I just like coming up with these. Interesting discussion, I've always felt. Anyway, I am going to stop now. And man, what a pleasure. I love these major scales. I sure hope the audio quality is good on this one because I couldn't do it, folks. I respect you that much. I was listening to it. I was previewing the video on YouTube and it was, I don't know what I was doing. If I was rubbing the microphone with the sleeve of my sweatshirt or something, it was just so, I couldn't handle it. Okay, and I had to redo this video. So here you go. Man, there's a lot of information in here, okay? But super cool stuff and hope you enjoy it. Again, if you're checking out these videos and you're enjoying it, please, give me a thumbs up, like it, subscribe to my channel, share this, with anybody you think that would be interested in learning more about music. And there's more to come, folks. Okay, there's more music to come, and I've got plans on the way, right, to include some mathematics videos as well, because that's another passion of mine. So, all right, Fundamental Peace signing off. Have a good one, everybody.